Yo, what is up, guys? As you guys can tell, we are back with another tier list for Anime Adventures just because they had a new update. So, I just want to keep you guys informed. And, yeah. So, no matter where you're at in the game, if you're level 1 or if you're level like 200, I feel like this still can be informational towards anybody. So, yeah, I'm just going to try to explain every unit really quickly and just explain kind of where they are in the game. Obviously, we don't have all the units on here, but these are a lot of ones you'll be seeing. So yeah, real quick, I'm gonna edit this one and do. I meant to put a slash. My bad. Do slash trade piece because there's just some tradable units on here that you can't even use anymore. I don't know why they're on here. All right, Eisen. I don't know if he's hybrid. I think he's just ground. He could be hybrid. If so, he'll go there. But he's just gonna stay in good. I honestly don't even know if you can even use him for leaderboard runs anymore. Yeah, I don't really. He's really close to being an unviable, and I honestly want to put him there, but oh, we're just gonna leave him there. I'm not too sure if he's hill or hybrid because I do not have him. Nor do I plan on getting him. We have Crush, who is a good support. Oh, and real quick before we continue, just to explain the rankings. Obviously, top 10 best units. Meta Hill Hybrid is Hill Hybrid units. Then we got Ground, support, and all that. And support is also utility too. Like I see some people do the same. But for me, it's kind of the same. Are they supporting the team? Yes, that's what a utility does as well. So they'll go there too. Cell, unviable. He's pretty garbage. Endeavor is probably still meta ground. He's still a top 3 burn unit. So yeah, he's still going to go in meta ground. He's definitely not a bad unit to have. He's just really hard to evolve. And yeah, if you're new to the game, any unit that's in meta, I would summon for. And if you have any of the other ones, especially in good, you're okay. Even some of the ones in unviable, are usable for story for new people, but I just still wouldn't. Like Whitebeard is awful, so bad. Now Fuji, he's a meta hill hybrid. Even before you evolve him, he's super useful just because he's a multi-hit. And he's very cheap, so Fuji is meta hill hybrid. Yeah, I don't think he's top 10, but he's still up there. Genos is a good hill hybrid. He's a hybrid unit, and he's okay. He's nothing crazy, so don't need much detail on that. JoJo is a meta support. Good time stop. Not as good as Dio over Heaven, but obviously, yeah, good luck getting that. He's also really annoying to evolve. Frieza, I think, is still meta hill hybrid, very close to falling out just because of the range and the DPS and stuff. He does a lot of damage, and his circle is pretty big, but yeah. Gon. I'll put him in good ground because he can kill bosses, but other than that, Gon is pretty garbage. His cooldown's like 25 seconds, but he does like 150k, so he's a good boss killer. That's about it. Danny is also just a good ground. A little bit better than Gon, I would say. She does a lot more damage than I thought, but overall she's not that good. Akano could honestly go here, but she is more than anything a trade piece, so I'm just going to put her here. I'm going to try to keep the trade units at the front, just so you guys can understand. The rest of them are just bad. Don't go for them at all. There's no point to grind for Cell, and Whitebeard's awful. Now, she could, like I said, probably go here because she does a decent amount of damage, but you're never going to use her for that. So she's just going to go there. Even though she could. I wish I had 2 of her because she belongs in both, but more than less, she's a trade piece. Bon is a good support. Oh, by the way, I didn't even say what Crush did as a support. He breaks shields, but not worth it, honestly. And he's super annoying to evolve. Bon, I don't know. I unluckily have just pulled him in some annoying situations, but he's a decent bleed. There's just a lot better now, and especially a lot of the even top 10 units bleed themselves, so there's really no point to run them. We got Gyutaru, who I think is honestly going to move down to good ground. No point. She does 5 times damage to bleed units, but with all the new units and stuff, there's no point to bring her. Or him. Sorry, I don't know why I keep saying her. But yeah, still definitely not bad. I mean, it's arguable for him to be up here, but in my opinion, I wouldn't take him on anything. We got Hanj, who's pretty bad. Just honestly a trade piece. Not even a good trade piece at that. So, yeah, I'll kind of rank those trade pieces down here too, but some will still be up here. Hawk, I'd say he's a good support. I mean, he's also a good heal because I believe he does give health back. So it just depends, whatever. Either good heal or good support. He's overall not a bad unit to have since he does do both. I wouldn't say he's meta, but you wouldn't complain if you got Hawks early on, at least. Fugo, trade piece. People, I think he's a little more valuable than Hanj. Ichigo's a good hybrid. His DPS isn't that high, but his like cooldown short, so he attacks a lot. Good for getting rid of shields and stuff. Very good for story mode, especially early on. Like the newest 3 or 4 maps, like up until Puppet Island, you can use Ichigo very efficiently. He's very good. Yeah, next we got Itachi, who is no longer meta. I mean, he's honestly good ground. I'm gonna put him behind Gyutaru, just because there's so many more burn units that are better, and especially with one of the newest ones being hybrid. We'll get to that in a second. He just doesn't compare, especially to Endeavor. If you have either of these, you're not bringing Itachi, you're bringing Endeavor. Jotaro, good support. I'll probably put him behind Hawk. He could even go here, honestly. These bottom 3 I wouldn't really bring unless if that's all you have. He's definitely not better than Hawk. He has a time stop, which I think is like 4 seconds, so, you know. This is Kuniko. I think that's how it's said. I could be wrong. I didn't notice her in the last ones. Like, I didn't know who she was, but she's also a trade piece. I think Akino's a little more valuable. Julius is a good support. He's only used for leaderboard, which I don't know if he will be used for leaderboard now with some of the new units, so I'm going to put him behind Hawk. Just because who's all doing really leaderboards, you know? Not that many people. And then we got Brooke, who's a support as well. I'd put him there. He's not that good. So yeah. And I need to make a different category. I'm gonna put it below top 10, and let's change the color real quick to like, I don't know, blue. These are gonna be your must-have units. So if you play this game, you must have these units at some point. Like if you're just starting and you see these guys in either banner, you have to summon. You have to get them, okay? That's different from the top 10. Because top 10 right now, yes, you should summon when they're in the banner. But I mean these will be useful for updates to come. So, like, if I put somebody in here, they're not going to fall out of meta for a very, very long time. If that makes sense. Because top 10 will change. It's even different from the last tier list that I did 3 weeks ago. So, the must-have is never going to change for a very long time. Oh, we got Kyoko. She's still meta. I don't know if she's hybrid. Because I don't really use her. I honestly think she's a better trade piece than anything. But if you do have her, she is meta ground. Or hybrid. I don't know what she is. But I am tempted to put her in here because she is a pretty good trade piece, honestly. So, yeah, I'm just gonna. No, she deserves to be up here. We'll go meta ground. I'd probably put her there above Endeavor because I think she's ground. Now, Law, without a doubt, I don't like doing this early, but he is top 10. Law is going to be top 10 for a long time. Luffy is a meta hybrid, better than Frieza. And he can do it all pretty much. Sorry, my cords are getting tangled right here for some reason. He can do it all. He can be hybrid if you want, but he's only single hit, or you can have him as a shield breaker where he's multi-hit before, and he still does like 100 something K damage before he gets to that last upgrade. So he is still a meta unit. But yeah, nothing too crazy to say about that. Madoka is a meta hill. Is she? I don't know. I don't think she is because she's magic. Yeah, I'm gonna put her in trade pieces, honestly. I don't really see a reason to bring her anymore. I mean, don't get me wrong. She could go here, at least, at the very top of this. Yeah, I'll leave her there because you use her more for that than you would for trading. So, she'll go top of Good Hill. She could move up there, but I just don't think so. Mami is still a meta hybrid. probably up there. The only thing is she's kind of expensive, but I mean, for a lot of raids she carries, like, if, say, like, her and Metal Knight is just you have those two and somebody with a Griffith buff and some Usops, that's staying right there. If everybody ran that exact team, but, like, only one person with the Griffith buff, that would be easy. Like, everybody would win super easily because Mommy is such a good unit. Once you get her to that hybrid, she does a ton of damage. Yeah, she's really good, so she'll go up there. Megami, she's going to go next to Brooke. I'm pretty sure they do the same thing. Nothing crazy, but Brooke... Actually, I'm not even going to put Brooke there. I'm going to put him in trade value. Probably is about there. Because I feel like Brooke is definitely used for trading more than he is. I mean, who uses Brooke? So we got Meliodas, who... I don't know if he did get pushed out because all the new units are kind of support. So I think he still is going to stay meta ground. He does just a ton of damage. Like on my alt, I know I don't have anything really good on him. He does 220 something K. So yeah, he's still going to stay meta ground. He's really good ground unit, but he's going to stay at the bottom. And we got Metal Knight, who is a meta hill hybrid. This is honestly preference between Fuji and Metal Knight, but I will say Metal Knight carries through Infinity Castle, at least room through 100. Like in the last one, my buddy Nick said that even it carried him to like past 150 and stuff. So I prefer Metal Knight, but Metal Knight and Fuji are both solid. They're really good, not solid. They are some of the best. It sucks we don't really have a hill unit in the top 10 because these two just don't cut it, sadly. So yeah, we got Mirko, which is a trade piece, and she is worth nothing unless if you have her shiny. Her shiny's worth quite a bit. We got Mochi, who I'd say is still a meta support, even though we've had a lot of supports come in. He is still the tier behind Amelia and one of the new units, which I'll get to later, of course. But he's still tier 2 slow, so if you have him and you don't have Amelia or the new support that slows, he is still viable. Now we got Akin. This is from Chainsaw Man, I believe. This is just a trade piece. I believe he's slightly worth more than Akino. I had him at one point. Don't remember. Not useful at all. I know he does crit, but yeah. Oshi, must-have unit. This is one of the units that's never going to go out of meta, okay? So you want to get her if you see her. Unless if you're new. If you're new, don't get her because she's a buff and makes things cheaper. So if you're new, you want to summon for these guys up here, the meta ones and stuff like that. Because if you're new, you don't really need a support to start out with. You need some actual units first, and then you can worry about supports. Perona, I'd honestly say she's more of a trade piece now than anything, but you could put her in good support, but I'm just going to put her in trade piece because who uses her anymore? I think her worth's about here. I could be wrong, but I think Brooke is worth more, or it's like that. I could be very wrong. I'm sorry. I don't want to make this video longer than it has to be by pulling up the sheets and checking everything, but she's somewhere here. Next we got Power, who is in one update completely fell out the meta. Could you still use her? Yes, you could, but overall she's a trade piece now. I believe she's the most valuable out of all of these, but she is a trade piece more than anything now. You are always going to be using Shalta over Power these days just because of how easy it is to get her. You don't have to worry about anything, and especially if you get Shalta and you have Power, well, there you go. That's easy trade up potential and stuff like that. So she's more than anything a trade piece now, but it doesn't make her bad. She is still a meta support if you do want her, but yeah. Escanor, I think his time in the top 10 has come to an end. He's still going meta hill hybrid. And I see Escanor gets a lot of hate because I don't know, just because people like to say if you don't have unique, he's not good, which is not true. And they like to say, oh, well, you know, in story mode missions, he's not getting that full buff or whatever, but like that matters. In story mode or portals or anything, you're always going to get the full AoE. And if you don't, that's honestly user error because I do every single time with rounds to spare. And he does a ton of damage. I mean, in story mode, in portals, I can get him to like, I don't know, like 200k. And that's pretty good because that's without the full buff. I think you can get one max, so that might be max. But for me, and I just have Celestial, I don't have S damage or anything. I think it's just like A plus. So he's still really good. All the people that are saying he's not good without unique are wrong. He's not top 10 without unique, but he is still meta hill hybrid. Probably the best, not in top 10, but we'll get to that when we do. Poochie, arguably top 10, but if anything, he's more of a support. Great for leaderboard runs, infinites, anything, honestly. I mean, he halves your cooldown, so that's double the DPS. Insane. So yeah, he's just going to stay there. He could potentially move up there, but I doubt it just because of he's just a support. Shanks is completely unviable. Don't get him at all. Rias, she's full AoE, so I don't like Rias. I traded her almost immediately, but she's another trade piece. She falls in with Akina and Kuniko. Now we got Sabo, who I think is just a good ground. He does burn. He probably does more damage than Itachi, so not much to say about him. If you get him, it is what it is. But yeah, he's not that great. Sayako, I believe, is still meta ground. I've never used her, but I believe she's on the level of Kyoka. Well, I actually think she does more damage than Kyoka, so she's probably up there. I don't think either of them are hybrid. Could be wrong. Yeah, but she's still really good. I don't see many people using her. I do see a lot of people more for trade piece, but honestly, I would use her. She is really good. It's just not many people really care to use her. So yeah, she's going to go there. Shigaraki, he's meta ground. I'd probably put him here just for the true damage, but honestly, there's a lot better now. There's even better true damage with everything. But yeah, he's full AoE true damage. Does a decent amount of damage, so he'll go there. Not much to say there either. Chainsaw Man is a trade piece. He's going to go right there. Him and Akin are the same value, I believe, or Akin might be higher. I know for sure Denji's 50 value in terms of the trading list, which if you guys want a trading video, just let me know. And I can go over some stuff and explain how trading works in this game. But yeah, Denji is equal to Akin or lower. I know that. So he's going to go there. It's just a trade piece. I know he's the same as Rias. Rias is 50, I believe. So yeah. Sonic, trash. Don't get him. Sasuke is getting pretty bad. I'd put him there. But I believe he stuns. If I'm incorrect about that, then he probably goes here or even there. But I know he's a support, so I'll put Sasuke there. Tengen is still top 10. He would be not top 10. Jesus. He's still meta hill hybrid. He's not top 10 anymore because he's very similar to Escanor. He's been pushed out by these other people, but he doesn't have that buff. I will say the good thing about him is he's cheaper. But that's about it. So they're kind of even. It depends. If you get either, I mean, they're both really good. So yeah. Tatsumaki's... I wouldn't say she's meta, but she's still top. She's ahead of Julius. She pushes people back. So, some of the new units do stuff like that. There's no point, though, to really run her. She might be better than Hawk, honestly. I'll put her there. But yeah. Todoroki's a trade piece. And he is almost worthless. But I believe he's there. I know people like Fugo because of the stand. I don't know about Hanj. I don't know much about the old units. I don't really trade for them. Okay, here we go. Usopp is a must-have. It's very simple. Honestly, he's even above Oshi. Still the highest DPS in the game. True damage. It can hit air and ground off placement. Starts off at a ton of damage. Mine has divine, so it's a little wonky, but the one on my alt starts off at 15k, and then the one on my main with divine starts off at 22k, so it's he does a ton of damage. Usopp is arguably the best unit in the game, but just for the fact overall. So yeah, he's a must-have. He's not going to go out for a very long time. Now, this is the dude from Trigun. I can't remember his name, nor do I have a single clue what his trade value is. If I were to say, I'd probably say it's there or there. I don't know. I could be completely wrong. He could be worth nothing. So just take that trade value with a little bit of, a little bit of salt. It's nothing. It's not real accurate. All right, Vegeta, good hill hybrid. It says better than Ichigo. Just another like story mode character kind of. You can bring him into raids because he does do, not raids, but like portals. He does do a decent amount of damage and stuff, but not meta for sure. Yoshina is just like Mochi, the same thing with the slow. She's tier 2 slow, so yeah, just gonna leave her there. Not much explanation. Amelia, meta support. She's gonna go there. She is better than Gojo to have. She is the best slow in the game, or at least tied with the best. So yeah, she still goes there. Deku, Jesus, sorry, I'm getting hiccups out of nowhere. Deku is still pretty good ground, honestly. I know he does a ton of damage, but I think that's it. So yeah, not much to explain there, especially for units that don't really know about. Armin's trash, don't get him. Unohana's a trade piece, which I believe she's also worth. She's either worth 50 or 35, so she's gonna go like. I'm just gonna put her here to be safe. Yeah, she's okay. Rayleigh, another trade piece. He's worth 35 as well, so he goes like next to Brook and Perona. I believe they're around that. So yeah, another trade piece. Not much to say there. Diavolo is a decent support. I'd probably put him there. Only literally, you're never going to use him except for leaderboard runs. So don't summon unless if you have that full unique team. No point to get him. Daki, I feel like she's already a trade piece, even though she hasn't had that much time. She's worth 65, so she's at least there. Which it sucks because as soon as she was tradable, she was still good, so she had a lot higher value, but she's just not that good anymore. Doflamingo, although traded quite a bit because his value is extremely high, he's really, really strong meta ground. I have my hands on one right now, which, by the way, if you want it, leave me some trade offers down there. I am trying to get rid of them, though, because I want to try to trade up to see how far I could get. But yeah, he's super good. One of the highest DPSs for the ground units. But yeah, he's meta ground. Pretty simple. Homura, gonna go top 10. Her and Law, it's very debatable. I'm gonna give her the edge this time. It's honestly back and forth on the last one. Law was probably ahead of her, but just because she's hybrid, I feel like it's good, especially it helps a lot more for tournament. So I'm gonna keep her up there. She's definitely still a top 10. Although she is mainly a support, she does a ton of damage. Same thing with Law. Pretty self-explanatory. And she's also a very high value trade unit. Ice Queen, you could put her in good support. You could put her in good ground. But more than anything, I think she's just a trade piece. And I think she's worth 70. So she goes like there. She's above Daki. Yeah, she's pretty good. She's not, I mean, she's just a slow. Her cooldown is like 18 seconds or something ridiculous. So yeah, I'd just trade her. Kisuke is also a trade piece. I don't really know what he's worth. If I were to say, I think he'd be around that. Or just to be safe, I'm going to put him next to Unohana down there because Kuniko's like 50, so he'd be somewhere in between that. Merlin is also a trade piece, which I believe she's 45, so I could be mistaken. You could also put her in support, same with Kisuke. Honestly, I think I'd rather... I don't know. Kisuke actually probably does belong in support. Yeah, I'm going to put him up here. His buff is just pretty good. He buffs range and SPA. And I don't know if there's any other units that really do that. So Kisuke, yes, belongs in good support, not in trade pieces. So yeah. Bakugo is honestly on Via. I mean, he's not, though. He can go here. Yeah, he can go there. Also, Aizen needs to be moved up a little bit. He just does damage, but he's not as strong as Deku, and he's not really that good. Piccolo, unviable trade unit. I really don't know his worth either. If I would say, it'd probably be near Daki. So I do apologize for that. Shisui, I know, is a little bit lower now. He's about there. Yamamoto, I know, is pretty high. I'm going to put him... By the way, this guy I still don't know. I'm going to just assume he's at the top, because if not, then this is wrong. Because Yamamoto, well, power might be worth more. I'm still going to keep Yamamoto up there. I believe he's worth like 160 or something like that. Boros is worth even more, though, so Lord Boron goes up there. And yeah, all those are just trade pieces. Now, Dio, I don't know if he's top 10 anymore. So we'll put him in meta support because he does have the best support in the game. Stops the entire map for, 20-25 seconds? really strong. People say he's useless with that unique, which is totally wrong. Now, are you losing a lot of value without having him unique? Yes, because he's very expensive, so you will only get to be able to get one down in most things. But he still does 220k maxed out without unique, so that's still really good. I don't care. I don't understand where it's like, I know the discrepancy is huge between like his uniques here and he's here normally, but that doesn't mean here is bad because that's really good. So yeah, he's gonna go there for now. Might move up. Stain is still top 10. I feel like they're just making stuff not catered to bleed anymore because it was for a while. So he's gonna be towards the bottom, I think. Kirito, meta ground, really strong. I don't know about Sayaka and Kyoka. Like I don't know their values too well, but I know Kirito maxes out around like 250k with mine, and he's like superior 3, and he's a 4 placement, so that's over 1 million. So yeah, he's definitely meta ground. DPS is huge. If you can get all 4 down, then it's kind of crazy. Asano, I know, is really good. She does a lot of damage, so I'm just going to put her there. I don't know too much about her. I have her, never used her. Heathcliff, I'm going to put above Kirito now because he is tradable, so that's going to give him the slight edge, but they're both very similar. High DPSs, but you can only place 3 of him. His range is massive, and his circle is massive, so yeah, very good. Clay also does a lot of damage. I'm going to put him next to Asano. And he's also a trade unit. I never really used him. I don't have him. So yeah, he's just going to stay there. This is Angel Devil, who should probably be around there. I don't know. It's just a trade piece. Leafy. I'm going to leave her here just because... Well, let me put them up there. Wendy and Orwin are must-haves for sure. You must get those. Now, Leafy is just a replacement for Wendy. Like, if you have... it's just weird, but if you have Leafy and not Wendy, that's fine, because she does, like, the same thing. But she herself is not a must-have. Wendy's more of the must-have. She's just easier to do all the stuff with. But Leafy's the replacement. So that's why she's there, so don't really... You don't need Leafy. But I'm just saying that for now. I am going to move her down just to good support. So, yeah. I actually honestly don't want to put her on the list because of that. She is just another Wendy. She'll go top of good support, though, because Wendy's better. Roshi is a trade piece, which he is worth, like, 25, so he's, like, down there. Mash, he's not a trade piece yet, but he will be. I don't think he's unviable. Charmy is meta support. The same with those two, but I put her ahead. Well, it depends what you want. Honestly, she could go there because these two, like, I know Katakuri has a line. I think she has a cone or maybe a line. And that's better for slows. But Charmy does more damage. She actually does a decent amount of damage for support. So it just depends what you want. But these 3 are all around the same. So yeah. All Force, unviable. Trash support. Carrot is also tradable at the same level as Mirka. Sukuna is... I'm not going to say meta anymore. But he is a good support. I'm going to put him at the top. He's a bleed unit. So, yeah. Very simple. Boa is around the level, like here. She's worth 35. I know that. Aokiji, I don't know what he's worth, but he's also trading. I'm just going to put him around Boa. Gauther is about here. Also a trade unit. Yuta, I don't think he's hybrid, but he's okay ground. He does a decent amount of damage. So we do have 2 Griffiths. Both are top 10, but since we have 2, I'm only going to take up 1 spot. Griffith is probably still the best unit in the game. Now, the other Griffith is the best support in the game, even better than Dio, but they do 2 different things. So it's like, they're kind of tied because Dio more affects the enemies and Griffith affects your people. So, yeah. Skull Knight is still a meta ground. It honestly depends what you want between Doflamingo and Skull Knight. I like Doflamingo a little better. I just think he's a cooler character, so Skull Knight's going to go there. Also, I know this is a little late to explain, but you see in other tier lists you have like the typings. I don't really think the typings matter too much because when you're summoning for these units, it's not like, oh, all the top 10's physical or all the top 10's magic. So when you're summoning for these units, you're going to build a good team around that. So it doesn't really matter. Honestly, the only thing that it's going to affect is your relics if you're high level, so you don't even care because you don't need to know. And then if you're low level, it doesn't matter at all. So Sengoku, I don't even think is meta, dude. He's just not good. He does a lot of damage. Cooldown is awful. Honestly, it was a waste of time getting him. Still haven't evolved him. Issei's a trade unit, and I know he's worth 50, so I'm going to put him about there. He's okay if you're a beginner, if you get him somehow, but just the fact of how hard he is, he's just going to be trade unit. I am really trying to speed through this, but this is very long. All right, we're going to go. Guts is also top 10 still. I don't know if he's 2. We'll go with that. And it's pretty simple. Full AoE, hybrid, bleeds, very strong. Gabimaru, it's not a trade piece yet. He's very bad, honestly. I'm gonna put him down there. And I see all the videos and stuff where people's like, "Oh, he's pretty good actually." But I use him in mine, like on my alt, and mine's level 95, and he does like no damage at all. And I'm just confused how people are getting these numbers. So yeah, he's gonna stay down there. His stats aren't all that great on mine, but it still shouldn't be that bad. Chad, same thing. These guys aren't tradable yet, so they're just gonna go down there. Roger, is he still top 10? We might move him up, but for now he's at top of meta ground. He stuns, highest DPS for a ground unit, really good. Poseidon's still top 10. I'd probably put him over Stain. Now, I know what you're thinking. Stain is... he's unique, so you think he's probably better, but Poseidon's useful in more stuff than Stain. You could bring Stain into everything and he'd be good, but like just having that full AoE, and for me, mine's unique, so I'm bringing him into everything. But just having that Poseidon with the full AoE and all that damage is just nice. Any full AoE is really nice to bring into stuff, so I'd bring him over Stain, honestly. Kisame is a meta ground. Believe it or not, his DPS is extremely high. I'm going to put him behind Shigaraki, though. Avdol is a meta ground. Was the best burn unit for like 3 to 6 weeks. And then he got dethroned pretty quickly. So, honestly, he does a lot of damage. He does the same as Kirito plus the burn, which adds, like, I believe, like 60k. So I'm actually going to put him up there. He's a very strong unit to get. Haribo is a meta hill. And it's honestly, I think she's just slightly worse than Metal Knight, because Fuji's in a category all on his own because he's really the only physical hill unit. So all the other ones are magic pretty much. And I just prefer Metal Knight. Like Haribo could potentially have higher DPS, I'm not really sure, but I like the drones that Metal Knight summons for me. He can just carry everything, so yeah. Haribo's still really, really good though. And I feel like this hill hybrid is low. Is there anybody here that's hybrid that maybe Kyoka, maybe Asuna, I don't know. I don't use them. But other than that, no. Okay, we got Albedo. She's a meta ground. She's full AoE, does a ton of damage. Gonna put her there. I don't know if she's above Skull Knight though. Skull Knight does a lot. I'll just leave her there. She's more used to Evolve Iron, so you know. Evil Eye, I honestly don't even know if she's meta. This is the unit that I probably have the least knowledge on, because Evil Eye's the one you're sacrificing. Maybe a slightly better Melia. I don't know. I just don't know how good she is, so I apologize. Her ranking is probably not fair. Shalta's going to be a top 10. She's going to go behind Stain, because her and Stain together are immediate... just whatever. Imagine her Stain and Guts in an Infinite or anything like that if you're doing a leaderboard run. Dude, that's going to be insane, honestly, because Guts and Stain both do the bleed. Stain does 5 times to bleed, and Shalta makes the bleed last longer. It's very good. She's definitely top 10. Even though she's support. Demiurge is hybrid. And I'd probably put him there. Well... it's close between him and Mami, but he does burn. He is the best burn unit in the game. So I will put him there. I think that's fair. Not much to say. He's just a hybrid burn unit. Yeah, pretty good. Narbera, now I see people having her above Metal Knight, which I think is wrong. I actually think she's here, and here's the reason. Her DPS is slightly higher than Metal Knight's, but one, she doesn't summon drones because that calculation is without Metal Knight's drones. And two, she's not a multi-hit. I don't think she ever is a multi-hit. She's single target the whole time, and that sucks for a flyer because if you don't have like Usopp or any other flyer, then what if they have shields? You know, like no matter how much the damage, you're not gonna get rid of those. So yeah, for me, I just have her down there. That little bit extra DPS is not worth the sacrifice. We got Smoker, who's actually pretty good. I don't remember if he's hybrid or ground. I honestly haven't really used him. But I know he does a lot of damage. He's actually not bad. It would make sense if he was hybrid, but I don't know if he... I don't really think he is, honestly. So I'm going to put him there. He's a really good unit, especially for beginners. Great battle pass. So yeah, Minato, pretty useless. I'm going to put him above Roshi. I don't know which one's worth more. Maybe Roshi is, but yeah, just another trade unit. I'm sorry, I'm trying to wrap this up, guys. But we got Ainz, who is... I'd say number 2. When he came out, there was debate if he was number 1. I still think Griffith's better. But yeah, let's see how many we got in here. 4. So we need 2 more in top 10, which I think they're coming. Now, Conrad is a meta hybrid. Now, he's going to be near the bottom. But he's similar to Frieza, but just on the ground. He does a ton of damage. And he's free. And he's free to evolve if you bought the battle pass. So he's going to stay up there. He's really good. And I don't think anybody down here is better than him. So yeah. Rohan. Come back to Rohan. Honestly, I'll come back to those 3. Because Kira for sure is top 10. Kira's probably going to go like... I don't know to put him above Homaru, behind Law. But he like fits in with those 3. I'm just going to put him above because he's new and cool. His ability is very, very strong for leaderboards and anything, honestly. His ability is very, very good. So, yeah. He's just going to go there just mainly because of his ability, and he does a lot of damage, too. So, we only have one more spot up there. It's not going to go to Koichi, but Koichi is arguably the best slow now because he is also hybrid. So I'm going to put him above Amelia. I think it's fair. They're both pretty equal, so it's just kind of whichever you prefer. We got Rohan and Josuke. My opinions on Rohan are hard because I know his whole thing is him being able to put on any status effect like freeze, stun, pushback. Like he could do any of it, right? But I just don't know about his DPS. I believe he only maxed out a little bit over 100k. I could be wrong. And I have just not seen enough about him. So, just going to put him top of meta support, honestly. Just going to put him there because I do not know. I apologize. You want to know with the new unit, but he's unpredictable. It's hard to tell. So yeah, I just realized how strong these JoJo units are. And yeah, Josuke up there I think is fair. I think he got a lot of hate when he came out. Because he was only a 3 placement. And he's circle AoE, which a lot of people don't like. But his damage is ridiculous. And yes, cooldown is long, but his circle's huge. And he's stunning enemies. And his range is pretty good too. He is a very, very good support. He is... Honestly, this is DPS higher than Rogers? It's kind of unfair to put him and Roger are very equal. So I feel like they should share the spot, but I'm a huge JoJo fan, so I'm just going to leave Josuke up there. But yeah, this is about the tier list, so just real quick, these are the tradable. Ignore this one. Like I said, if you want a trade video, just let me know. But yeah, don't try to get any of these unless if they are trading and you just want to trade to get higher stuff. But other than that, don't summon for any of those that are summonable. Even the good, I wouldn't try to get any of these. If you happen to have one or get one, then that's fine. They're not bad. But yeah, just summon for anything meta and above, preferably top 10. And yeah, most of these you can summon for, like Josuke, Shalta, Law, Kira, Guts, and Griffith. Those are really good. And obviously, Ainz, you'll have to work for. Homura, if you don't have Homura now and you don't have stuff to trade, you're probably not going to get one, just being honest. Poseidon is pretty easy to get. All you have to do is grind the summer portals. Stain is really hard to get. What I'd recommend if you're struggling with those is to join the Anime Adventures Discord, and try to join people that are doing the raid. I will say that if you're low level, I wouldn't even try to get Stain. There's gonna be no one that wants to help you, and there's no way you can even contribute. Yeah, Shalta you can summon for, and Josuke you can summon for. And these must-haves, get them. 2 of them you have to summon for. Well, you have to summon for all of them, but 2 of them are mythics. Get them. They are some of the most important characters. But yeah, feel free to obviously pause it or whatever, look wherever. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video.